Hello, viewers. I'm SB.
And I'm ready. I'm Amabel.
You're also you're also ready. You're so ready. And welcome back to Avowed, where I didn't have enough essence. I tried to use the charge to save myself. I was trying to reset my vertical momentum, and it just said
Okay.
not enough essence.
Have we seen the game over screen before?
We had to learn. We had to know. We had to see it eventually. Spiders in Eora grow to enormous size. It's true. It's true. We've seen some fucked up spiders. All right, I was gonna. Okay, hold on. I have enough essence. I think the thing is, I pressed the button too late. Maybe. Look, it's gonna work. This is what it was supposed to look like. Well,
That's better.
okay. I think you can't use abilities once you're in the falling animation, the arms swing in part. So now we know that. Now we've learned a thing, Amabel.
This is how we learn.
This is how we learn. What here? Can I sort my food by? It's already sorted by basically what it does. I have so much it feels like a little bit of a waste to use the stew when we have full essence, you know? Oh, actually,
Maybe just stop jumping off of cliffs.
what I should do is heal myself and then do the thing, because actually it looks like it's still got the you see down there where the apple is, it looks like it's still stored the extra food energy. So if I were to heal myself again when it comes off cooldown, we might in fact still get that. Yeah, that's interesting. It banks the extra food energy. Well, that's nice of them. That's a very forgiving way for that system to work. All right, so we're heading back to town along the direction that we were probably supposed to go when we first left town. But, I got distracted and fought spiders or whatever.
Yeah.
So there's still all kinds of new things for us to see up here.
Now, are big spiders? You said we saw some fucked up spiders. Is it
Yeah.
because of how big they are?
Yeah. As
Are
opposed to what?
all big spiders fucked up spiders?
Yeah, absolutely.
There's never a spider you'd want to hug.
Hold on. Those two things are not the same. I hear creature noises.
How are they different?
Oh, it's a bunch of Zorps. There's lots of things that are fucked up that I would hug.
Name 5.
Are you trying to get me to do all the talking and the game playing at the same time here? While you contribute what exactly? Keep them distracted.
You can
Kai.
do
Ow.
it. I believe in you.
Kai is not keeping them distracted. Ow.
These guys are pretty fucked up. Would you hug them?
I mean, maybe. Not in this circumstance, obviously. Oh, guess what? It's time for a combo. Wow, that does a lot of damage now with the upgrades. I found a bear.
A lot of bears around.
There are a lot of bears around. Hey, guess what, bear? Fuck you, is what? Because we have all this extra stored magic energy. I should probably use it, right?
Yeah, maybe.
Oops, that's not the button I wanted. I wanted this. Apparently I killed somebody over there. So I have to say, I was not doing the math on the projectiles from the stun effect of the wand. But it didn't look to me like it was as much damage, like looking at it on camera.
Pilgrim's path, but no one really uses it anymore.
Cool, thanks, Kai.
I was just getting warmed up.
Looking at it on camera, it didn't seem like it was as much damage, so I think even in situations where we generate a stun with the wand, it might be best to switch to the hammer to actually claim it. Obviously, the downside of that, of course, is that we have to get into melee to do the hammer thing. But the hammer stun combo seems fantastic. We did learn in that combat there that you're not immune to interference when performing it. That Zorb definitely hit me for real damage while I was up to it. So I guess that's another good reason, is to just keep yourself safe. Hi, Kai.
That's a good thing to learn. We're learning so much.
Yeah.
Great view, isn't it? You can even see Fort Northreach in the distance.
Who are these people?
No. Too soon.
If you traveled weeks to see him, you can wait a few more days.
What are you guys doing?
The Temple of Aethys is closed. Ugh, I don't know why everyone in the Living Land suddenly wants to see the old kook in there, but it's not happening. Not today, anyway. Probably not tomorrow, either. Not with the way they're dawdling.
Since when do you make the rules?
Since I arrived with the big sword.
So you say I need a bigger sword. The Oracle has one. Let me in and I will borrow it.
I'm saying you need to go home, because the goddamn temple is closed.
What? Sorry, what are we talking about? What temple? I do not see a temple.
There's a temple to Aethys in the cave back there. It's a hike, and the path there is crumbling to bits. So even if it weren't closed, you know, I don't recommend it.
Okay, why can't she enter the temple?
Eora, an excellent question. Holy One, please. I say you must make her see reason.
As I've told Kalia here, there's a venture underway inside. The Free Expedition Corps is exploring a cave system that holds a temple of Aethys. There's an old man in there, calls himself the Oracle. I guess he's got something they want. And uncouth pilgrims will only get in the way.
Your expedition has been gone 3 days, Sejuan. I say they are dead.
It sounds like the lady on the right knows that the Oracle has a very large sword. I would like to see the large sword.
You will
Yeah.
let her go and not me. I see.
Who said I was letting her go?
Shut up immediately.
Yeah, that's been pretty good.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh. Oh, I can pull rank on you. Okay. I didn't realize. I'm still not 100% clear where my authority ends as a royal envoy. Okay, now speak.
The expedition team entered through the cave just past here. They planned for a day's journey, but they've been gone for more than 3. Something must have held them up. Our freak mentioned traps and earthquakes and...
The Oracle who maintains the temple is a godlike of Aethys, so there is no telling what he is capable of.
They were carrying a lot of tools and weapons with them, so be on your guard.
Okay, I'm going to nod solemnly and leave. I don't know why that would make them any more dangerous to me.
Well, I guess we're going in there.
Aren't we not expecting them to be the danger? Why would it matter that they were carrying tools? Okay, there's nothing here to steal, so I will go on.
I like that she called him an old kook. That's
Yeah.
not a word I hear much anymore. That's pretty charming. I assume that's a harmless provenance. I'd have to double check, but
I would love to meet another godlike, provided that we don't have to kill him. I mean, it's fine if we do have to kill him. It's just like, you know, I'd love to have a conversation. The wheel refers to the cycle of reincarnation. Did you know, Amabel? Did you know?
I mean, it makes sense.
The answer is yes.
Fucked up wheel,
yes,
though.
you knew due to my incredible reconnaissance.
That's a fucked up wheel. Would you hug that wheel?
I would hug that wheel. But you make a good point. I should get my hammer out. Electric lilies.
Apparently the word derives from cuckoo.
Guess we're on the right track.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, you hold on a second, Kai. You're getting ahead of us. This seems important and also broken. Essence generators are mechanical devices that can be activated with shock damage. While I was going to try to zap it, I do feel like they didn't need to tell me that. All right. That one's running already. Let's just give this one a little bit of a poke. Damn. You can't really deliver like a small amount of energy. With that, it is a very... Look at that. Amabel, look at that.
I can't see him. I can see the bar thing, but he's so far away. Oh, there he is. Okay.
Well, he was laying down the whole. My
Okay,
point was that he
charging
wasn't.
out.
My point was that he wasn't fooling anybody, but apparently he was kind of fooling you.
Here's the thing. I still haven't gotten curtains for my room, so there is like sunlight interfering.
Amabel, how are you still having this problem after we moved and now you're underground?
Because there's a window.
There we go.
And because we moved during the winter when the sun wasn't out at 5 p.m. Now the sun's out and it's like in my way. I need to get curtains. I'm sorry.
Breaking stuff. Do you see how fascinated that skeleton was by me?
Yeah. Maybe
Completely
you
ignoring
really are,
Kai.
you really are fucking up this pottery. Would you hug that pottery?
No.
The fucked up pottery. Okay, so now we know the thing. Okay, we can collect you more data.
Do you know why? Because it's very sharp. So just go ahead and punch that into whatever formula you're working out there. Sharp is bad for hug. Same reason I wouldn't hug Baraka. Yadnug, the bright star, spoke, and her voice was like a clarion cry, calling his soul forth. He knew her for the right hand of the shining god, and was afraid. "O wanderer, hear me," she spoke. "You are known to us, and your deeds put you far from salvation." And he wept, for he knew that his sins lay bare before this great illumination. Then Sargamus spoke, and his voice swept forth with the heat and force of the bright day's sun. "Weep not, for the child of light has forgiveness even for you, if you will embrace him." Harmkin knelt before them then, resolved to save himself, and asked what he must do. And Modegund spoke. Her voice was like the songbird's final hymn, bidding farewell to the day's light. "What darkness lies within you, you must cast into his light. Your sins will be burned from you, until you are newly formed, reborn into his keeping." So spoke Modegund, but Idnung warned him, saying, "You have walked all these years into darkness, and must now return. You will find the path like treading fire, and at every step you will be tempted to turn away, but no harm will come to you, if you keep your faith." So that sounds like a borderline monotheistic system there, right? There's a lot of everybody's the child of some greater deity stuff going on there. I wonder if that's the same religious system that everybody else is talking about, and it is just understood that all the gods are children of this one greater light, or if it's a competing.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad to see somebody else is helping with the bear problem around here. There are too many of these invasive bears. It does seem like I should probably not jump down there.
Baby, don't
Views
jump
like
down
this
there.
Remind me why I came to the Living Lands in the first place.
It does. It does seem like I
they want
should
you to
not
jump
jump
now.
down there. It does. I mean, it really seems like I should not jump down there. Yep, that's a death pit. Video games.
Video games. You know, I will admit that I was expecting a lot more quicksand and bottomless pits in my day-to-day.
Oh, just you wait. We have barely begun to venture. Huh. It's more grenades than you usually
Grenade.
find on the ground in a cave. Is there anything? Nope, no hidden platforms or anything. Well, no, that's way too far away to charge to. I am
Coward.
on the lookout for places where we can do a leaping charge.
Someone got clumsy.
Oh, yep, that tripwire there. Absolutely saw that before I would have walked into it. I did manage to take down one tripwire without just blundering.
I saw
through it.
that, yeah. Hey, yeah, there's a Paradisian ladder. You've been looking for that.
Yeah, we still need like a lot more.
That statue. How did anyone build that all the way down here?
Rituals, whispers of searing light.
I mean, it's impressive architecture for sure. There's also an awful lot of Adra, which I assume is just like naturally occurring here.
Zorps. Want a sneak or fight?
I want to sneak and then fight, I think. So yeah, we could just go around if we were tiny baby cowards. Look at how hidden I am right now. Oh. Remarkably, the other ones noticed that. For a stealth kill ability, it's very loud. It really lets everyone in the area know. Take this right in your precious pottery. For a small amount of coins. Kai, I don't know if you needed to follow me in here. I'm so ready for the game to like have a sneaky path behind us or like, you know, just down a cliff a bit or something. And it's not.
You've seen me do this multiple times, guy.
Yeah, but he doesn't know how. So this was the alternate path, presumably if we had. Oh, I was expecting that to explode the thing. Maybe you need to. There we go. I don't know why I didn't try that first. This is the path you get to if you jump along those platforms. Yeah.
Okay.
Although, interestingly, jumping along those platforms does lead further. Some Zorps over there that we could try to snipe down if I had remembered to keep our gun. Ah!
Gosh, this
Yep.
game is pretty.
That sure was a trap, and I just like walked right through a trip line. Tripwire, rather. Daily affirmations of focus and efficiency. All errors can be reforged into lessons. Abaddon rebuilt himself from ruin. No setback is insurmountable, not even death itself, so long as the soul is dedicated to the task. There's a version of this that applies to our world. It's not maybe so much with that last bit. Work hard and work well. Abaddon demands only honest labor and forthright service. All errors can be reforged if your first intentions are pure. All ignorance can be reforged into knowledge. Master your craft, excel at what you have been trusted to do. Do not offend your teacher by remaining a student forever. Each generation must forge its successors. Teach your trade to all who are willing to learn, and in doing so, multiply the fruits of your knowledge. All difficulties can be reforged into triumphs. Meet strife with humility and acceptance. Let adversity temper the ingot of your will, and you will never shatter. Embrace your station, fulfill the duties of your rank, and meddle not in the affairs of your betters. All guilds fail at their weakest link. All loss can be reforged into strength. I was reading ahead, and Profitable work heals all emptiness. So long as you have the tools of your trade, you will always be able to forge wealth anew. Value the works of others, and they will value your works in return. Share the harvest with the hungry, and your tools with the destitute. And finally, all souls can be reforged into whatever we will. Hard work is not exclusive to life, and death is no time for complacency. Commit yourself to excellence in this cycle and the next. You know, there's a lot of very well-meaning stuff going on there.
Hold it together, kid. We're nearly there.
Yeah.
This poor fella is getting electro-zapped pretty good.
Don't hug him. It's not safe.
Okay.
It is fucked up, though.
I did rip out his tongue. I hope that is okay and does not count as a hug.
I don't think so.
Not my brother.
Well, I sort of hugged his tongue with my hand and then
Yeah.
pulled.
I got to be dreaming. Oh gods, am I dead? Is this the beyond spirit? Have you come to take me to Galloway's side?
The kid's in bad shape, but he's not too far gone. I think we can help him.
I'm not ready. I've never even touched a girl. It's not fair.
Okay, well I feel like we have the dream. This is dream touch time, right? Unless, do we think that the voice that we're hearing is a trick? Is trying to trick us into spreading the dream poison around? No, right? It seems like no.
I mean, let's dream touch anyway.
Okay, all right. I thought there was a pretty good odds you were going to be pulling for the top option here.
No, I don't.
All right, I don't know if your wound even looks that bad, but here.
Oh, that's the creepiest sensation I ever felt in my life. Like vines were growing all through me.
If it works, don't question it. And look, your wounds are closing up already.
Oh, wow. I feel leagues better. I thought for sure you were coming to take me back to the wheel. Who are you? What you doing down here?
I do feel like they should have had the spell, sound effects and stuff go off there.
Yeah.
I could ask you the same question. You with the Expedition Corps?
Free Expedition Corps out of High Crown. Yeah, that's us. Well, that's me anyway. The rest of those assholes went on without me after I got hurt. We'll come back for you once we've got the relic, Cadman, honest. Oh, shit. Yeda was probably hoping I'd croak so she wouldn't have to tell our freak how she abandoned me. All she cares about is that oracle and his relic, which is probably just a big old dog bone if you ask me. He's probably still down there, fiddling with the statue. You must have seen it on your way in.
The big old dog bone, do you think it's a bone from a large dog? Or a bone for like a...
Is the dog large or is the bone large, is what you're asking?
Yeah.
I mean, it's impossible to know. We're just going to have to go find out.
Okay.
Hey, would you maybe tell me something about this Geta?
Our captain, she's... I don't know. I don't want to talk out of turn.
Relax. You're not the first person to have a bad commander.
It's not like that. I mean, it didn't used to be. Yeda's not been quite herself lately. I've always known her to be cautious, careful. Now she charges forward recklessly. And she pushes us as hard as she pushes herself. And that's how I got hurt.
Has she been short-tempered? Distracted?
Covered in mushrooms?
Yeah. And when we make camp, she has these terrible dreams. Wakes us all up with her screaming and muttering.
Can't be sure, but it sounds like the dream scourge to me, Envoy.
All right, I'm so glad we brought the expert here. All right, is there anything I need to know about that oracle?
I doubt I know much more than you do. I mean, you're godlike, just like him.
Come on, kid. Don't get starstruck now.
Well, he's touched by Aethys, right? And he's supposed to be old, like hundreds of years old. And I don't mean elf old, he's extra old, like Aethys has been keeping him alive or something.
Great. He's old. Anything else?
It used to receive pilgrims, but only the ones who could make it in. This place, it's like a trial.
Yeah, we've seen the same traps and crumbling buildings you have.
And he's building something. A statue of Aethys, I think. But I don't know what for. I mean, after all Aethys did in the Deadfire, people don't come here anymore.
I should look up what the Deadfire is, because it keeps coming up, and it seems like the sort of thing our character would know.
If you hit the dialogue history and lore, because
Oh,
it's
you're
a
right. It
highlighted thing.
is a blue. Thank you. Good call. It is a highlighted topic. The Deadfire Archipelago is an expansive region known for its volcanic islands and treacherous seas. 3 years ago, the god Aethys rampaged across the Deadfire in the body of an Adra Colossus, where he did lasting damage to the ancient ruins of Ukaizo. The consequences of his rampage are a topic of spiritual uncertainty and fear. Huh. So a god just like kaiju'd himself up, and that seems like an odd thing for a god to do. Especially the god of rebirth, redemption, dawn, spring, and light. You know, they're curious folk, the gods. All right,
Yeah.
well, I'll go have words with this oracle then.
He'll be the last one to have seen him, I bet. I'll just rest up here a minute before I head back to Paradise.
Take it easy. No sense getting yourself into another scrape.
Promise, I'll take it slow. Hey, Envoy, for what it's worth, I really thought I was gonna die down here.
All right, we're not good with people, right? This is the thing we decided?
Yeah.
Well, anyway, I should go.
Right, yeah. You got those assholes to save and everything. I hope they're better off than I was.
All right, and good news for you, I disarmed all the traps on the way in. So you should be very safe.
You know, something that that irks me about fantasy pantheons is this is probably a me problem, is the thing where textually the gods are real.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I
Oh, that's
prefer
it. Okay.
Yeah, I prefer there be some uncertainty, like, you know, like people assume that the god did this, but
Seems like a good kid. Glad we could give him a hand.
you know,
Maybe one of Juliana's girls will too.
Kai,
So,
don't
the
be
kid
gross.
said the expedition team went deeper, looking for the Oracle. I say we head after him.
Yeah, I know what the kid said.
do you think Kai would be a bad date?
Ooh. Arquebuses require both hands and shoot bullets perfectly straight, just like in real life. That was supposed to bother you, because you know, like, more historical stuff about arquebuses than I do, probably.
I'm just letting it.
Okay.
I mean,
I know it's a
You
big
know.
gun. I know it's a long gun. It's probably fairly accurate relative to the guns of the time.
yeah.
A History of the Living Lands 1. Origin. The Living Lands do not exist, but certainly there is an island. Certainly there are valleys. There are rivers, lakes, mountains. There are trees and fungi in abundance. Taken together, do these not constitute the Living Lands? I will concede that they constitute the description of a continent, and that this continent lies north of the equator, and that this continent is equidistant from Adir and Rawatai. I will concede that this continent is real, so long as you and I walk upon it. We call this island the Living Lands, but the Living Lands is merely a descriptor of its attributes. A list of attributes does not alone make up a place. I believe that for a place to become real, it must have a name. For a name to be real, it must have a history. History confers meaning, and meaning is given to a name by its namer. But the Living Lands cannot be this island's name, because I have traveled its breadth and climbed its peaks and delved its countless depths, and I have discovered that the Living Lands has no namer at all. Unless the words we use to describe this continent, the Living Lands, were given to us by the godless, unless these words have a meaning only they could comprehend, Unless these words have a history, only they could know. And the haecity, the thisness of this place, was lost with them. Amabel, is that a real word? You'll have an easier time looking this up than I will.
Yes, I am working on looking it up.
Phonetic, like the phonemes do not look familiar to me, is what I will say. There are definitely Zoribs down there.
Unseen, unheard.
Yeah, Kai will be a lot less heard if you shut the hell up. Is he giving us away? Kai, are you giving us away right now? It's probably me. I'm too damn big for the thing I was trying to do there, I think. I was gonna say, I think the other one's up there somewhere. Probably a ranged attacker. Trying to get the jump on me, but Kai's gonna do the other thing. That's pretty rad.
I was just getting warmed up.
Hey, Amabel, how's it going?
I'm. Here's the thing. I forgot how to spell the word, and I was trying.
Haecc. Do you need more?
No, I don't. Does not seem to be a.
Okay.
No.
For the moment, it does seem like Paradise and Ladder is going to remain the bottleneck on a lot of our upgrades here. A lot of our armor upgrades. Or weapon upgrades, rather. Captain Gidda, the relic you seek is but one of the many thorns in the rotten heart of this land. Claim it for Adir, and should its efficacy be confirmed, you will be appropriately rewarded.
Didn't realize the head of the Steel Garrote was into antiques.
Yeah.
I see someone. Be ready for anything.
Thanks, Kai. Good looking out. I'm just trying to remember to look for tripwires now.
My sister, can it be? Come, stand in the light. Let me look at you.
All right. You are considerably more intense looking than me.
It has been too long. I had feared I was the last of us, but you... Oh, the very sight of you is a balm for the soul.
Interesting.
I am the Oracle Sargamis, servant of the once shining god, he whose light has lately dimmed. What brings you to this sacred space?
Well, apparently we know that he is named after one of the early figures in Eothasian scripture. Do we want to say that? I guess it does.
Why not?
Like it does. Clearly, he's very into Eothas, so this proves that we are maybe at least on the level knowledge-wise. You named yourself after one of the early figures in Eothasian scripture.
Then Sargamis spoke, and his voice swept forth with the heat and force of the bright day's sun. Weep not, for the child of light has forgiveness even for you, if you will embrace him. I am that same Sargamis. Though it has been some time since a man has knelt before me and begged absolution, as Hamka did. The people do not hold to the gods any longer, and they do not hold to their servants. We live in a time of disbelief. The gods are absent, and have recalled their gifts from the world. Avarice reigns. Acquisition is the faith to which all men bow. But Perhaps there is hope. You have read the Book of Verses, and we are here together, if only briefly. In this moment, we are not entirely alone.
So what do you think about that in fantasy settings, where the gods are inarguably real, but now they seem to be gone? Because that's a feature of a number of, well, I don't know about a number, but at least one other such setting I can think of.
So I like that more because that's more akin to the way certain pantheons in human history are treated, where like, because they believe their gods are real, but the gods don't walk the earth anymore. The gods don't do these miracles anymore, and we're in a fallen time, and it's a very human thing, and I like that better as a story thing than the sort of thing where you might just go hang out with a god. Him being the same guy from scripture times, however far long ago that was, that's really interesting, I think.
Yeah, I think let's continue
That's a
to
bit of
play
a
on.
curveball.
Let's continue to play on the Aethys stuff for the moment. We'll come back to the countryman. I want this guy to like us. I think he will be more useful and less likely to try to kill me. I heard there was a temple of Aethys in this cave.
Be welcome, for you have found it. People like you and I once sought this place in moments of spiritual turmoil, when the world and our souls could not find rest. Moments of war, famine, massacres, when those such as us are called upon to speak the gods' wills and to lead. But I have seen not one of us these last 3 years, and it is rare indeed that pilgrims come to pray. Perhaps our meeting now is the work of immortal hands. I pray that it is so.
I'm getting a lot of menace off of this guy.
This is what I'm saying. Like I'm trying to get us into a friendly position here because I am a little worried.
Here's the thing, though. If he's that old, here's something I don't understand about fantasy and sci-fi things, where if someone's really, really old, look out. They're going to fuck you up real bad. Because I tell you, I'm not scared of really, really old people.
I think there's something to the idea that being alive for a long time fucks you up, though.
Yeah.
If you think about, say, I don't know, if there were like a group of really weirdly old people who made all the rules for our lives and, let's say, government.
Yeah.
And the way that those people might be, we're missing something here, and I kind of like that we know that we're missing something.
Yeah. But I'm saying
do you think he has any idea about the Deadfire thing?
I don't know. That's a good question. Let's find out.
This was like maybe walking into accidentally enraging him here.
Before you click that, though, I will say, the thing is, yeah, but I'm not. I could take those old people in a fight. That's what I'm saying. I'm not scared of this guy. I should not be scared of this guy in a fight just because he's thousands of years old or whatever.
But no, that doesn't hold at all in a world where there's magic. I doubt there are many people worshipping Aethys these days.
You speak of the breaking of the wheel, when my lord determined it was his sole right and purpose to forge for all kith a new covenant with the gods. Ah, but perhaps you speak of the atrocity my lord perpetrated upon the people of the Deadfire, when he used their souls to power that fateful journey to Ukaizo. Or perhaps you speak of the Saints' War, which my lord and his agent Widewin instigated against the people of the Deerwood, and which resulted in the deaths of thousands. Mayhap you yet concern yourself with the actions of his pilgrims, who brutalized the Orlans of Rhaed Saris when they established a colony in his name. Yes, my lord's legacy is a troubled one, and he has much for which to answer. But he is gone. And so long as he is gone, he cannot be redeemed. I pray daily for his return.
Okay, I like that. I like that stance a lot. I
Yeah.
am less worried about this dude now.
Yeah, that's really nuanced.
So, hey, did you build this statue?
Indeed. It has been my obsession these last few years. Hewn by my own hands from stone in Ardra, and no small degree of melancholy. I suspect it will be my last great labor before this body is returned to the earth, and I am returned to my god.
Why? Are you dying?
If I am, it is from an affliction that death will not cure. But no, sister. I am only very old. My light is waning. As Aethys' essence leaves the world, I am leaving with him. His essence has kept me alive for centuries, and soon we will enter the longest night.
Huh. So hey, you mentioned you're very old. Where could this possibly be leading?
I don't know.
I'm gonna say it.
Yeah, no, that
Indeed, my soul has dwelled in this form for centuries, beyond even the lifespan of the longest-lived elf. My lord Aethys inspired my birth in the same year the kingdom of Adir was founded. You might say my birth heralded the empire you now serve.
Huh. I mean, you must have witnessed some unbelievable things.
Many, yes. Some that inspired awe, others dread. For a time, I proselytized among the colonists who first settled Glanfath. I held the door of my parish church against an onslaught of Glanfathan raiders, and I watched them fall prostrate before my light. I tended the wounded in the Broken Stone War, the War of Black Trees, the War of Defiance, and in many wars that were never given the dignity of a name, and since have been forgotten. I can hardly recall them anymore.
Huh. You spent a long time in the Deerwood. What made you stay?
The Deerwood has been a troubled place since the very moment of its inception. Conflicts erupted as regularly as spring flowers, to bloom and die as swiftly. So, there is always some dark corner in need of light, if you'll indulge me in the metaphor. Truthfully, I had been jailed for proselytizing in Colklin, and it was to the colonies I was exiled. So it was the Deerwood or death. I had nowhere else to go.
Okay, there's a lot of that going around lately, it seems like. I mean, did you ever meet Saint Waidwin? I think this is like, in addition to just me being sort of fascinated by the history of the world, I think this is very in character. That
Yeah.
our character would have all of these history nerd questions.
Is that what they're calling him now? I heard the man that was Waidwin speak when he was but a farmer. He had a presence even then, furious, incandescent. It was astonishing, his power. I wonder, had my lord already made a home in his body by then? Did my lord share with Waidwin his plans to wage a pointless, bloody war while wearing the poor man's face? What a grave injustice. To have your body stolen and be made into a saint. Tragic Waidwin. Pitiable Waidwin. I grieve for what became of him.
I like Sargamus.
yeah.
Sargamus
yeah,
is an interesting and thoughtful fellow. This is a different thing that we're missing, by the way. This one's perception O of 3. There's stuff about this situation we're not getting because we're too hyped up about getting to ask about historical figures. Our enthusiasm overrides. it feels rude to ask, so why haven't you died yet? Right, like I feel like we've got the answer to these questions already
Yeah.
in what he's told us.
Be my guest.
So you're really a godlike. I'm going to try to turn the topic onto whether or not he can tell what our deal is.
Yeah.
I am as you are, though I do not care for the word. Aethys the Dawn Treader is my lord and patron. If you will forgive me saying so, I am surprised to meet you here. Even before the vanishing of our kind, it had been some years since a child of Galawain came to speak with me.
Oh.
And I have never seen a member of the Lord of the Hunt's coterie whose visage resembles yours.
I don't think that we have any reason to lie to him, right? I don't think this makes sense for
Yeah.
us
No.
to do.
No.
Yeah, I'm probably not a godlike of Galawain.
Ah, of course. I should not have assumed.
But why did you, though?
I have had the great privilege to speak with thousands of our kind during my long life. And you do not resemble a single one of them. But if not Galawain, I cannot imagine who else among the Pantheon might have blessed you.
Huh. Well, that's disappointing. I was hoping we'd get at least a hint here. I mean, do you think it could be Aethys?
I'm afraid not. I do not feel the sympathetic resonance in our chimes.
Yeah, your whole deal's pretty different from mine. And you know, truthfully, I have no idea which god is my patron.
My relationship with my lord has oftentimes been the one succor through difficult seasons of my life. I hope that when you find your patron, it is the same for you. May I ask, as a god's child, did your earthly parents love you?
Ooh, okay. Like... So there wasn't anything in the background material we were given to suggest one way or the other, right?
Mm-hmm.
We saw some, like, kids beating up on us when we were little, because different face. And we have this story about... having become someone in position to, like, you know, make a governor's life difficult. But we really have been given a lot to fill in ourselves. So...
I like that.
I mean, I'm inclined to think we ended up in a pretty decent position even before the Emperor pulled us to his court. I'm inclined to think that we probably sort of had the backing of our parents. I want it to be a sort of a happy thing, right?
Sure, I guess.
I don't
understand how parents work. I don't understand the idea of a parent loving their child. So this is all on you, sweetheart.
I mean, there's something interesting here, right? Like parents who view their child as a religious object.
Yeah.
Where the relationship is positive, but it's not really a parent-child relationship. It's like a different kind of caretaking. I'm not telling you that. I actually kind of like this idea.
All right.
Because they're traditionally, like, being a godlike is an unusual thing, and it has become even more so, right? So we're miraculous in that way, and maybe they're religious people, and so it causes them to have a different relationship with us than parent-child. More like caretaker and relic.
It is difficult to be a child when you are expected to represent a god.
You know, I've been hearing this voice in my head since I arrived on this island. Do you think it could be my god?
I suppose it's not impossible, but the gods typically make themselves known to us in our earliest days, before we have left the comfort of the womb. They are present in our hearts and mind before we even have a notion of I at all. I'm sorry. Yours is an unusual case.
Yeah, I know.
Tell me, this voice in your head, do you want it to be your god?
It's interesting to say that we're not. It's interesting that we're not actually allowed to say no.
Yeah.
But these are all sort of like different flavors of yes or I don't know. I think it's something about this land. It's like a spirit of the island is what is my take, like the Audra of this place personified. I mean, it would be a relief. Okay, so like here's a question that I think is important for us to decide for this character, probably pretty early on. How much does it bother her that she doesn't know?
Yeah.
Is that maybe a motivating factor in becoming like a researcher? Is one of the things that drove the sort of scholarliness a desire to try to find out, because desire to read things and become absorbed in these historical sources because they might provide some kind of information or hint?
I mean, that's
like where are we at with like this as a thing that determines something meaningful about us even?
That's a complicated question. I understand. Yeah.
This is 100% how I would approach making this character if I were to play her in like a traditional TTRPG.
Yeah.
I think it's most interesting to play her, and by most interesting I mean least restrictive on our future actions, if we're playing her as somebody who maybe was directed by that at some point, but at this point has sort of settled on, well, I am the agent in any case. Whoever it is, it doesn't matter that much. We've like decided for ourselves that it doesn't matter that much. So I think, driven by all of those pieces of information, I'm going to say I just want to know that I'm not going mad. I'm viewing the thing that's happening to us now as a new problem related to the situation we're in currently.
No, that makes sense.
Okay.
You do not seem especially troubled. No more than any kith subject to life's uncertainties. As to what the voice is, if it is unlikely to be a god, I cannot say. It may be a particularly powerful soul attempting to control you, or the echoes of a past life. Perhaps it is the sending of an archmage, or some ancient construct of Engwithan make. Or it may just be the beginnings of the Dream Scourge. Whatever this voice is, I suspect only an expert in souls can say. Okay,
it had occurred to me that it might be the beginnings of the Dream Scourge. Dialogue, history, and lore real quick. Engwithan? The Engwithans were an ancient society that vanished from Eora. Today they are remembered for their grand architecture and deep knowledge of soul manipulation. They left vast ruins and intricate machines all over the known world, but what became of them at the height of their power remains a mystery. Why does every video game setting need to have a vanished precursor race with advanced machinery that has left their shit all over the place? Why is this so common? It's a weird idea, right?
I mean, it is and it isn't, because it's an idea that's founded on an idea of a golden age, nostalgia for a thing that never happened, and the idea that we're in some kind of fallen, diminished world.
Yeah.
It's a very human idea. It sucks. It's an idea that sucks ass, but it's a very human idea.
Well, I just think it's weird because, like, every human who's ever lived, I mean, I guess not every human who's ever lived, but on the broad strokes, most people have had the experience of things advancing in a sort of a forwardly direction during their lives. Like, technology doesn't get worse, usually.
Well,
I guess for, like, I have a very modern perspective on this, where, like, we live in an era where technology is getting better so fast that you couldn't even possibly miss it. But, like, I don't know, maybe for a person who lived from, like, 1010 to 1060, maybe they didn't see any meaningful slide in any direction. I don't know. It feels like it can't be true, though, right?
Yeah.
People
also-
everywhere are always trying to improve their circumstances. Somebody's going to invent something local to you that's going to, I don't know.
Yeah. Also, can I just take a moment to
Mhm.
just reflect on the existential horror of a god for whom your identity is contingent on being known to you in the womb before there even is a concept of I, that just fills me with so much dread.
Okay, sure. I don't get the same dread from it. That's interesting. Anyway, I'm gonna ask. So, why did the gods vanish godlikes from the world?
There are many theories, which the holy and learned of Eora have only just begun to argue. But you did not ask me for theories. Frankly, I do not know for certain. However, I believe the gods are preparing for war.
A war against each other?
A war of all against all. A struggle between destiny and design. Who yokes the soul of the world? Whose machinations turn the wheel? Who acts and whom is acted upon? That is the ultimate power, sister. The only power there is. To decide the fate of another, and to make it so. For so long as we have lived, it is the gods who have decided for us. But change is possible, if we are brave enough to want it. And Kith have lately grown very brave indeed.
It must be sort of fascinating to have lived specifically through the period that he's lived through, right? To see the gods and their power wane and then fall away, and there be fewer and fewer godlikes. Like, the thing that he just said is such a perfect expression of that historical viewpoint. And I wonder what somebody who lived as long as he did, but like a couple hundred years earlier, would compare.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're running out of options here. I'm looking for an expedition to my countrymen, by the way. Do you see any other guys around here lately?
An expedition? I'm afraid I don't understand.
An expedition? You know, treasure maps, matching outfits, campfire songs, the works.
I am familiar with the concept, tomb raiding and the like. What troubles me is why they would come here. These ruins are not so different from the many others on this island, except that they are a good deal more treacherous. And this representation of Aethys we stand before, it is the work of my own hands. They could not hope to move it. Do you know what their purpose is here?
It is very weird for him not to have seen them if the kid got as far as he did and they left him behind. It's like 30 feet from there to here, right?
Yeah.
I'm starting to get the menace again, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. No, me too.
I guess I'm gonna tell him the truth here. They were searching for a relic that you're rumored to keep here.
Ah, the splinter of Aethys. I suppose it was too much to hope they were here to examine these exquisite ruins. Truly, it is their loss.
What is the relic exactly?
The splinter of Aethys is a sliver of shinbone from my lord's titan body. It was carved from his skeleton many centuries ago. Yet long after the gods left this mortal world to claim their dominion in the beyond. The splinter is infused with the very essence of my lord's power. To illuminate without fire, to heal without injury, and to speak without voice.
To heal without injury.
Yeah, that's a weird.
Yeah, to illuminate without fire and to speak without voice are both very, like, first of all, you can imagine the utility, and secondly, you can imagine them happening very easily. To heal without injury is an odd one. Carve from the skeleton of a god.
We just call that healing, generally.
Well, it's not even, though, right? It's just like the state of being normal. Just, but to carve something from the skeleton of a god, like the god had physical form the whole time, and that's interesting. I don't really know, like, to what degree. So, like, I'm familiar with a lot of fantasy settings where, like, the gods are real, objectively, but they sort of live in an alternate dimension. They live in some kind of other place, right? And they affect our world from there, and occasionally one of them might come down and, like, do something by hand. But I would be surprised for one of them to have a skeleton, I guess.
Yeah.
For them not to be made entirely of, I don't know, some kind of, like, god stuff. Just basically, like, animated ivory. I don't know. Animated marble. So, like, it's weird. I guess maybe they were just things that lived, you know? Maybe they were just around in that sense. Again, I'm not super... Maybe should look some stuff up about this setting. All right, well, where do you keep the relic? Maybe I'll find them there.
It rests in a shrine deep within this temple complex, beyond the reach of looters, visitors, or indeed, myself. The path to the relic has fallen to ruin. Some sections are flooded, and others are infested with all manner of creatures. Although, perhaps you might assist me with that.
If you're about to ask us to tidy up, think again. My place is a much bigger mess.
Oh no. I had something far grander in mind. You see, this construction beside us is no mere statue, but a reliquary I have built to house the splinter of Aethys in its appropriate grandeur. It is nearly complete, and ready for the splinter to be interred. But I can no longer reach the relic on my own. Return it to me, and who knows, perhaps you will meet your expedition along the way.
Huh. Option 2 is certainly funny. I'm just gonna say, you know what? I'll return shortly. Sometime.
Yeah.
I am most grateful. Oh, and please refrain from touching my statue or devices. May light illuminate your path, sister.
Alright, I can't be the only one thinking that it would be a uniquely bad idea to unite a piece of the essence of this particular god with a big stone body, right?
I mean,
given the events of the recent past, it seems like walking right into it.
Yeah, a little bit.
All right. So I think this is probably a good place to cut it here. We ended up talking to that dude for a lot longer than I was expecting. It was a lot more of a meaningful conversation. Yeah, I am absolutely like digging the world and the fiction stuff so far. And also, you know, it's fun enough to run around and hit stuff with a hammer. That's going to be it for us. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I'll say I like finding it out with you. So I like that you don't know stuff about the setting. We're finding it out as we go along. I think that's... I don't think you should look stuff up. I think this is a good way to do it.
Okay. Yeah, I see the value in that. Okay, well, that's going to be it for us for today. Thank you all so much for watching. When you come back next time, we will continue to stumble through it together. And we'll see you then.